Generally, if you're active for 12 months, right? You have to renew every year. Your renewal starts January, and generally by April, you should be done and you should be being able to sell a franchise. If Q4 is actually one of the best times to start thinking about that, because you still have a little bit of time to make some tweaks and changes. We can start thinking about what worked, what didn't. You've actually been through pretty much a whole cycle of shows and sales, and we can start thinking about what questions were asked of you by potential franchisees that we couldn't answer. Right? What I like to do is I kind of like to work with the questions and see how they work, or how we can work the answers into our profit and loss. If it's something that's numerical and definitive that we can pull out, we'll like to show them in some type of KPI so that this way you can actively talk about that with actual real numbers to point at. And this becomes a really good sales tool. So generally what I've noticed in my time from franchise sales is that if one person asks the question, generally there'll be more people that ask that question. So what I tell the new franchisees, when you go to a show, one of the most important pieces of technology that you're going to have is a pen and paper, or at this point, your Apple Notes or whatever you're taking your notes on. Just go ahead, and if they ask you a question where you're like, I don't know, can't answer that right now, jot it down, and then put a tick mark next to how many people ask you those questions. Because at the end of the year, I like to take those questions and see how I can show them visually. If I can, I will add that as a KPI so that this way, when somebody asks that, you could say, oh no, let's look at our FDD. Okay, our item 19 states this is our profit and loss. Great. This is the KPI you were talking about. Your how many students we have in each class, how many haircuts we provide to each person, how many training sessions, whatever it is. And then we can show it in a chart where you can see it visually and you can openly talk about it because it's in the FDD. Most businesses will run different, let's say, owner-operator compensation through their business. Maybe they have a home office that gets run through the business, or a personal car that gets run through the business. Those are all things that would be considered owner-operator compensation. If it's an owner-operator compensation, we can back that out of the process of the profit and loss, right? So that this way, the potential franchisee can honestly see what the potential in his or her new franchise could be, right? That's what we're trying to show. We're trying to show what my business would do if I didn't have to pay myself, if I was stepping back and see just what the business, right? That's what we try to show. The other thing is, and my personal chart of accounts for my business it's like a page and a half long. Most people can't digest that type of information. And so what we like to do is we like to bring it down to this, what I call the meat and potatoes, and push that towards the top. And the rest, the other ancillary things, would go into other expense lines, just so that they can really grasp what the important numbers are. Once we have that in structure, they can see, well, I can possibly take home this much money. Okay, if I take this much money, is it worth my time? These are all the things that we try to think about when we're structuring an item 19. It's important. This will tell the potential franchisee very quickly whether this is for him or not. And just like you said, it's two-sided, right? Because just like you said at the beginning of your question, it's awarding the franchise. We don't sell franchise. You award them, right? You got to think about the people that are coming on board, and not everybody is fit for you. This is what I've learned after 15 years in business and doing tax accounting and consulting for franchises. Not every franchisee is for you, and you'll quickly understand that. At first, it becomes hard to say no because you lay out a lot of money to try to franchise. But the sooner you understand that not every franchisee is for you, you'll have happier, better, more productive franchisees.